Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and I hope you've had a nice week and that when you're watching this video you've had time to relax but also get your schoolwork done. Welcome to week 11 of English 3 Diploma 3. This week's topic is computer support officers. Today's agenda, which is a list of the things we'll be covering, is a review of last week's lesson. Then we'll look at computing support officers and what their roles are and the different kinds of jobs they do. Then we'll look at conditionals, which are basically if statements. So if something happens, then, but we'll look at that a little bit later in the lesson. So our review exercise for today. I want you to create a fictional web address or a pretend one. Include a HTTP protocol prefix, www, a domain name, and a domain name extension. Send your web address to my email at dab950@uowmail.edu.au. When you send your email, include a reason for why you used the web address you provided. Here's an example from me. Now this isn't a real web address, it's just one I made up for this exercise. But I said https www.englishforlearners.com.au. I said this is a website for English learners. It is a business and uses the .com domain. It is in Australia and caters to Australian clients, so has the .au country domain. During the lesson, we'll look at the web addresses and we'll share them and discuss them. Here's an image representing someone working with computers or a computer support officer. When you're studying, I'd like you to think about what jobs you're going to do. If you're studying IT and informatics, you'll be looking at a career in those fields. What kind of jobs are available? Some of these are an application support specialist, a help desk operator, an IT technician, a computer engineer, a hardware engineer, and a software engineer. Are any of those jobs what you're thinking of doing? What is it that you're thinking of doing after you finish your studies? This week we have a definition of the computer engineer. It's one of the careers that's available to IT specialists. I would like you to record an audio version of this description. I'm going to read it to you now so that you understand the pronunciation, but be ready to share this on Tuesday. A computer engineer, also called a software engineer, is responsible for developing, testing, and evaluating the software that makes our computers work. They may help in the development of new computer games and business applications, or even in the design of entirely new operating systems. A computer engineer may also be responsible for constructing and managing an organization's computer system and supplying technical support. A computer engineer typically works in an office or laboratory environment as part of a team and enjoys a traditional work schedule. The task I would like you to do now is based on the text that you've just read and that I've read to you and that you've made a recording of. I want you to answer this question and be ready to share your answers in the practicum. If you want to become a computer engineer, what skills or qualifications do you need to have? I know all of you are on the path to getting these now, but please prepare an answer ready to share at Tuesday's practicum. Now we come to the grammar part of our practicum lesson, and we're going to look at 3 kinds of conditionals. If you need any more information, check out the web link that's attached to this PowerPoint. I would like all of you to have a look at that prior to the practicum. Follow the link, have a look at the examples, but we'll go through it a little bit more in the upcoming slides. The first conditional we're going to talk about is used to express a simple statement of fact or intent that is certain or possible. This conditional is used to talk about things that are normal, possible, and quite likely to happen. They take the form of the if clause in the present simple tense, and then we have the main clause in the future tense, and we usually have will in there to let us know what's going to happen. So an example is, if you help me, I will help you. So you can see the red part is the if clause in the present simple tense, and the following occurs in the examples that we're looking at now. If you want to become a computer engineer, you will need to take the computer engineering program. The last example is, if you become an IT technician, you will earn a good salary. The second group of conditionals we're looking at refer to a present, unreal situation or a hypothetical future situation that the speaker thinks is unlikely to happen, or which could be likely to happen but not for a long time, so it's in the future. This conditional is used to talk about things that are impossible or only just possible, but unlikely to happen or nearly impossible. They take the form of the if clause plus the past simple tense, and then we have the main clause and the word would. So the first example, if I went to bed earlier, I would get better sleep. We all know about that. The second example says, if I was a help desk operator, I would be able to talk with people for most of the day and make a lot of money. And the third example, if it never rained in Indonesia, I would never get wet. This moves us on to the third group of conditionals. To refer to the past and situations that did not happen and are now impossible and cannot happen. This conditional is used to talk about events in the past that can't be changed. It is used when speculating about how things might be altered if something had or hadn't happened in a different way. And we can also add at the end of these, but, and this will become more evident in the examples. The structure of this third form of conditional is the if clause plus the past perfect tense. And then we have the main clause, and would have. If I had known that, I would have told you. That's enough as it is, but we can also add, but I didn't know, so I didn't tell you. The second example is, if I had better antivirus software, my computer would not have gotten the Trojan horse virus. That infers that we've already got the Trojan horse virus. If we'd done something different, the future would have been different. And we can also add on this one, but I didn't have better antivirus software, so my computer got the Trojan horse virus. The last example is, if I were an IT technician, I would own a house. But as you know, I'm not an IT technician, so I don't own a house. The third conditional also has a function of regret attached to it. Not always, but quite often. When we use this form of the conditional about things that have already happened or things that we've already done and we cannot change, they can express regret. Regret is the emotion of wishing one had made a different decision in the past because the consequences of the decision were unfavorable and didn't work out for us. I've added some examples. The first one is, if I had bought PayPal shares when they were first offered, I would now be rich. I can add to that, but I didn't buy any PayPal shares in the IPO, and now I'm not rich. The second example I have there is, if only I had not clicked on that link, my computer would not have become infected and my personal information stolen. The last part, but I did, can be left out, but it also adds a little bit of interest to the reader and listener if I use it. Here's an exercise to do for some practice. I've called it life in a past time and place. We're going to imagine we're doing something that's not entirely real. So you need to use your imagination here. So I want you to think about a past time and what you would have done if you lived there. I've added some examples at the bottom. The first one is, if I lived in ancient Greece, I would have been a philosopher and a soldier. The second one is a little more fanciful. If I lived in the Middle Ages, I would have hunted dragons. But remember, both of those things are impossible because it's happened before, and I didn't live in ancient Greece and I didn't live in the Middle Ages. So think about that when you're thinking about the third conditional. If you have any questions about these, please contact Miss Mona or myself and we can sort them out and explain to you how they work. We can also start conditionals with the main clause, not the if clause. So we reverse the order of the clauses. So you can see the red part is now the second part of the sentence. The first clause is in black, the second one's in red. These examples are, you will need to take the computer engineering program if you want to become a computer engineer. The second one is, I would be able to talk with people for most of the day and make a lot of money if I was a help desk operator. And the third example is, I would own a house if I was already an IT technician. So as you can see, you can change the order of the clauses. Here's some practice for you. Please change the tense and alter the words so that the sentences make sense. The first two examples are the type 1 conditionals, 3 and 4 are the type 2 conditionals, and type 5 is a type 3 conditional. Be ready to share at the practicum. This is another exercise for your practice. Remember to fill in the blanks and add what you think should be in there. I'm not going to give you too many hints. Follow the forms that you've seen using the conditionals. Once again, if you have any questions, please ask prior to the practicum and I can help you, or Miss Mona can help you to understand what's going on. And for the final practice this week, write an example of a type 1, a type 2, and a type 3 conditional referring to your own life. That is, something you will do, a type 1 conditional, something you would do, type 2, and something you would have done, type 3. So I write, if they buy a computer, I will set it up for them. If I was a programmer, I would write my own application. And if only she had told me, I wouldn't have said the wrong thing. But I did say the wrong thing, and now I'm in trouble. I've been enjoying hearing you talk and you answering questions without a lot of time to prepare. You're all doing a really good job with this. There'll be more this week, not only this discussion question, but this is one I'd like you to think about, and we'll have a look at the answer to this. What job do you want to do for your career in the IT industry? And I want you to answer why. So why is that what you want to do? It might be a good salary. It might be because you like doing the work. I look forward to hearing your answers, and I look forward to us having some more dialogue and discussing things with each other. And I believe it'll be a hybrid lesson this week, so it'll be a little bit of a different format. We'll see how that goes, but I'm really looking forward to it. The topic for next week will be computing support. We'll look at that more in next week's video lecture. Here are the references for this week. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Be ready for the new format, and please be patient with me while I try to get used to it as well. I hope you have a nice weekend, or if you're watching it after the weekend, you've had a nice weekend, and I will see you all on Tuesday morning. Thank you and goodbye.